As a kid, I loved to ride my bike and eventually got a dirt bike. But my story on this project began as a family man. As I introduced dirt bikes to my kids, we lived deep in the neighborhood, Boca Raton, Florida, and we evolved from riding gas dirt bikes to eventually electric dirt bikes. And that's how this story began and why I'm making this video. From partnering with many brands in the cycling industry, I also started partnering with other brands like Razor products. We built a special Razor SX 500 that would be debuted at the Daytona Supercross in the Falcon booth, which is also run with in partnership with Dunlop Tires. A special bike was shown there. It was a specially modified throwback to a KX 125 that I rode as a kid. We showed the bike at Daytona Supercross. That's where the passion began with electric bikes. We then fixed up an old Segway X160, put a controller on it, and also built up another MX 650 for my son. And then it became time to think, it's time to upgrade our bikes. So we looked into the newest Sur-Rons. Earlier this year, I decided it was time to get a new Light BX and upgrade mine to the Ultra B. Previously, I'd done some research purchasing them and where could we get them and so on, looking at them used online, looking at them around retailers. But soon after, I figured out that there weren't a lot of retailers with the ability to even get one in stock, and you could no longer order Sur-Rons online in the United States. So that's when I looked towards Alibaba. Let's not forget that you can save a lot of money by going directly for Alibaba and getting nearly the same product. I also did a ton of research online from Alibaba, looking on the forums, the Facebook groups, and so on. And there were a couple that came to mind on how to order a bike or really anything from Alibaba. And it was something that's foreign to a lot of us in the United States, and about trusting a company overseas, sending a lot of money over there. It's important when searching that use a verified supplier, as well as one that has quite a bit of years of experience and have a lot of reviews and so on. And each time you click on a bike, you can see how many reviews there are. Alibaba's trade assurance program is actually very well accepted worldwide. And it's interesting how a lot of people don't realize that when you pay Alibaba, it actually almost acts like an escrow. And so they keep the money until your product is delivered and you confirm that. So once you're on Alibaba, it's pretty overwhelming if you search in the type of bike you're looking for or product. There's going to be a bunch of different businesses offering you products and examples to look at or buy. But after a lot of research, I came to the conclusion that there was a few at the top, and one of those was Gonped, which they actually pronounce it Go-en pedal, so it's pronounced Gonped. That's how the original names come about, which you'll hear more of from the owner, Frank. I reached out to them and got a typical salesperson online on Alibaba, tell them what I wanted, and then they spit back a price about the different options and so on, just like any other product you'd buy somewhere. So once they gave me back a price, I confirmed what that came with, making sure it came with the US charger, which is really important because these bikes can come with a standard Chinese charger, which then you need an adapter to run it for the US into our plugs. And the next thing I also asked was, this include everything, which it does. Includes the freight, the tax. It's called D2D, which means door to door. So they include all the tariffs and the delivery right from your purchasing it all the way to your door. I originally began my conversation online with Gonped with Denise, and eventually I came up with the idea that I wanted to share with others on how this process works. And she introduced me to her boss, which is Frank. And he actually spoke perfectly English. And so I actually then started talking to him on the phone, which many of you can too. Just write and ask, hey, can I talk to Frank and ask about potential questions you might have, or any things you're worried about purchasing online and so on. And from there, Frank went over with me the process and how all this works, assured me that I should be 100% confident with. And that's why I wanted to share everything in this process of buying these Sur-Rons with all of you. At that point, I agreed on a price, negotiating a little bit with Frank, which they're open to negotiation. Don't forget, make sure we got the right color, They also included a couple extra parts thrown in. And then from there, I went on to Wise, which is a website that I can transfer money through and have the least amount of fees to do a wire transfer. If you use a credit card or any other payment, you're going to be charged with the credit card processing fee. And from there, it took about, I think, 3 days business to Alibaba. And once Alibaba notifies Gonped, then Gonped starts to order. And so I also could see how much my fees were and so on that was going to be charged with Wise, which wasn't that much. From there, Frank let me know that he got the payment. Frank then notified me that he started the order and it would be shipped out as soon as possible. The next step, Gonped ships your Sur-Ron the order to the port in China.
Hey Ben, how's it going?
Frank, how you doing? I'm gonna record our conversation so I can share with everybody.